Chainsaw, here's Johnny. It's Chainsaw, number 6. This is nutty. It's Michael.
Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Versus Loco, the motherfucking horror cholo, and I'm back at it again, and I think I'm gonna try to get everything done with in my studio titles in this video, so it's gonna be a little bit longer maybe, and then after that you guys would have seen all of my horror movie Blu-rays. If you look at in my playlist, I will have all of them there, and then we'll move over to the DVDs, and we'll probably end up doing the rest of the genres also. So without further ado, let's jump right into this. First up we have Pig. You know, it's weird, I probably need to rewatch it, but it seems like people like this movie a lot more than I did, but it was okay. Next up we have Poltergeist. You know, I like the sequel, or actually I like part 3 way better than I do the other ones. To me, this is just a terrible movie. Probably Steven Spielberg and W. Hooper's. Actually, probably Steven Spielberg's worst movie. It wasn't that great. Next up, Poltergeist the remake. It's okay. Next up, we have The Possession of Hannah Grace. This is actually a really good possession movie. If you haven't checked it out, I would definitely recommend this one. Pretty cool. Next up, we have Possessor. Been a while since I watched this movie, man, but this movie's a fucking trip. Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, just now coming out with that new movie right now, and this one was nuts, so I can't even imagine what the new one's gonna be like. Next up, Predator 1 and 2. Predator 1 is a fucking masterpiece. Part 2, it's been so long since I watched it, but I remember it being pretty cool. Next up, we have the horrible Pray for the Devil. Not a good movie at all. They tried and failed with so many things in this movie. Not good. Next up, we have The Prodigy. This was actually a pretty cool movie. I have not watched it in a very long time. Well, not a very long time, but since it came out, I believe maybe 2020. 2019, yeah. So it's been a while since I watched it, but it was a pretty decent flick. Next up, we have Priest. I think I found this one like at the dollar store or something like that. I've not watched it, but yeah. Next up, we have The Purge. Decent flick. This one, it's funny. I wish in this one they did more of what they kind of did in the other ones. I like the layout and everything, but I mean, you only see the view from inside the house, so I wish they would have did more with that one, but it's okay. And then Purge. This one has Purge 1, 2, and 3. I think I like Election Year the most out of all of them. Next up, we have Psycho. Steelbook, all fucked up, but yeah, good movie. Next up, we have the Puppet Master remake on 4K. This is a fucking awesome, fun movie, man. This is I've always been a huge fan of the Puppet Master series, and they kind of took that and put it on steroids, and it's just fucking awesome. Really great time. Next up, we have Quarantine. I have not seen this movie yet. I actually just got it in the mail not too long ago, but excited to check that out. Did not realize that it was like a remake to Wreck, and I absolutely love Wreck, so awesome stuff there. Can't wait to check that out. Next up, we have the Steelbook of Quiet Place. Pretty cool movie. I enjoyed it. Next up, Quiet Place 2. I like the first one more than the second one, but still a decent flick. I'm gonna scooch it down a little bit. All right. Now I have this Scream Queens. This has I Know What You Did Last Summer, Vacancy, and When a Stranger Calls. Everybody kind of knows my opinions on I Know What You Did Last Summer. They were good back in the day, but for me now, they just do not hold up. Vacancy is actually a really great movie. When a Stranger Calls is actually a pretty good movie as well. Next up, we have Ready or Not. I only seen this movie once, and I had a blast with it. Really cool, interesting premise. I think they did it pretty good. I liked it. Next up, we have Return to House on Haunted Hill. This was actually a pretty fun sequel. I remember for the longest time, I kind of avoided this movie like the plague, and then I ended up getting it because it was $5, and I was like, man, I watched it, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually a pretty cool sequel. I had fun with it. Next up, we have Rings. I don't know, not that great. Again, I like the original Ringus, and to me, honestly, that whole series of the originals was really, really good. Next up, we have The Ruins. This is actually a great movie. Really awesome, very different kind of movie. It's a very simple premise, but I don't feel like it's been done too many times. So it felt really original and fresh. And I love that movie. Great movie. Next up, we have Starship Troopers. Excellent fun time. Action-packed. Even though there's a lot of CGI in it, for some reason in this movie it just works for me. I have fun with it. It's a blast. I could actually watch this movie all the time. Next up, we have Sadness. I just talked about this one on my 7 Opinions of Death. This is a great movie, on my top 7 for 2022. Great, insane movie. Next up, we have Saint Maud. This is another one that's very, very trippy. Very interesting story, all the way to the end. The end will fucking trip you out as well. Cool stuff, man. If you like slow burns and you have the patience to see what kind of the reveal is, this is an awesome flick. Next up, we have Saw. This is going to be the 4K Steelbook. I like the Saw movies. I always have fun with them. Here's all of them right here. This is all 7 films in one kind of little thing. Great movies. I have fun with them. Next up, we have Scarehouse. This one's signed by, I believe, the directors. I actually never watched this movie though yet. I think this one was like one of those exclusives in the horror pack when I used to get those. But yeah. Next up, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I need to rewatch this movie, but I loved the books as a kid, and for some reason this one just didn't do it for me. I expected and wanted more, but it was okay. I want to give it a rewatch though. Next up, we have Scream 1, 2, and 3. I like 1 and 2 the most out of the entire series. 1 and 2, I can rewatch those movies all the time. Great flicks. 3, not so much. 4, not so much. And then the newest one was okay. Next up, we have 7. 7's a cool flick. Definitely recommend it. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, cool stuff. And I have this combo pack. This has 7, Copycat and Taking Lives. These are actually all great flicks, but what I actually bought it for was Copycat. I watched Copycat at a very young age also, and even though it was more of a thriller, there was a part in there, man, that creeped the fuck out of me when I was a kid. So yeah, that's a cool one right there. Next up, we have Secret Window. This is an amazing film. I love this movie. If you haven't seen Secret Window, that is a high recommend. It's Stephen King adaptation. I mean, guy finds his wife cheating on him, ends up staying at a house by himself and kind of going crazy up there, and you kind of get a reveal at the end. You're like, oh shit. Next up, we have The Shining. Actually have 2 copies, so I'll probably get rid of this Blu-ray at some point. But yeah, I have it on 4K as well. Shining is an amazing flick. I'm sure everybody has seen that one. Next up, we have Shudder. This was kind of when America kept redoing all these Japanese horror thriller movies, and I enjoyed this for what it was. It's pretty cool. Basically what it had to do with like ghost imaging. So if you take a picture of somebody, you can kind of see sometimes ghosts in the background. So it all kind of has a backstory with that. Very actually interesting story now that I'm thinking about it. Really cool movie. I actually highly suggest that. If you have not seen Shudder, it's a lot of fun. Next up, we have Shutter Island. This movie is another one that's a masterpiece. Great fucking movie. It's funny too, it says masterpiece on here. Great movie. I remember the first time I seen it, I was just completely, my jaw was on the fucking floor. Great stuff right here. Next up, we have Silent Night. Decent remake or loosely adaptation. I love the original so much, but yeah, it's okay. I guess I will talk about this real quick. This is from 88 Films. This is going to be the I Know What You Did Last Summer box set. Yes, I just talked all that smack about it, but I still had to have the box set. I really love these 88 Films box sets. So this one's going to have I Know What You Did Last Summer, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. I actually still have not even watched I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. But it's funny, I actually kind of like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer a little bit more than the original, even though even that one's, in my opinion, not the greatest. Moving it down. All right. So next up from 88 Films again, I have the Anaconda collection. This one has Anaconda 1, 2, 3, and 4. So really cool to have that also. I've actually never seen the other Anacondas, and I bought this to check those out. Plus I love the original. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, need to dig into that box set more. Next up, we have Sinister. This is an awesome flick. I've always loved this one. That score that plays whenever there's one of those videos shown is fucking crazy, man. It's so nightmarish. Really cool movie. Love it. Next up, we have Sinister 2. I feel like the best part about this was the videos. You know, other than that, I feel like that fucking cop, he's just too much of a comedic relief that it kind of ruins it for me. But it's still okay. Next up, we have Spiral on 4K. I actually enjoyed what he did with this, with the story. I think he did a great job. I enjoy this one. Again, I actually like the Saw series though, so. Next up, we have Skeleton Key. This is a cool one right here. Kate Hudson. Awesome story. Been a while since I watched it though, but yeah, cool movie. Next up, we have Smiley Face Killers. This is a horrible fucking movie. This one's really bad. It is just so boring. Nothing really happens in it. It is a no-go there. Avoid at all costs. Next up, we have the Sleepy Hollow Steelbook. This is a great film. I love Tim Burton's films. So Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, the colors in it are just so basic, but they're so vivid at the same time. The sets are amazing in it. The blood is over the top. Awesome movie. Smile. I actually had a good time with this one. I watched this one in movie theaters, and even though the story isn't very original, I thought they did a great job. So it had some good scares too. Cool stuff. Next up, we have Spell. This was a really cool one right here as well. If you have not seen this one, I highly suggest it. It's a fun watch. Not too many people talk about this one too, so I feel like it's kind of underrated. But it has like a kind of a witchcraft story. Really, really cool. Next up, we have The Strangers Part 2, Pray at Night. I like the original way better than this. To me, this one was a huge downgrade. Been a while since I watched it, but yeah, huge downgrade. Next up, we have Stir of Echoes. This movie here deserves to get such a better release than this piece of junk right here. This is a great fucking movie right here. If you have not seen Stir of Echoes, definitely go check this movie out. I don't want to say too much about it, but this is an awesome fucking flick. Please go watch. Next up, we have Stitches. Stitches is a fun time. Goofy kind of clown horror, low budget stuff. It's fun. It's fun. Next up, we have Summer of '88. A lot of people loved this movie, and I just thought it was okay. I feel like they were just really maximizing off of the what the fuck was a Stranger Things kind of thing. It was very, very similar to that, and for that, it kind of threw me off on it. Next up, we have Suspiria, the remake. To me, the original is way better, but this was actually a pretty good take on it, so they did a good job. I liked it. Next up, we have Stakeland. I have not watched this movie yet, so I don't know. Tales from the Hood 2. Oh man, the Tales from the Hood, the original, is one of my favorite movies, and this movie was such a huge downstep of it. The best part about this movie is the fact that Keith David is in that, and that is literally it. That is probably the only thing good about this movie is Keith David. Other than that, it is just trash. And then next up, we have Tales from the Hood 3. This is definitely a step up from part 2, but still nowhere near the original. Nowhere. Sorry about that, guys, but my throat and clear my throat. I apologize. Next up, we have the Tremors 6-movie collection. So this is going to have all of them in the Steelbook. Tremors are fun movies, man. The original especially is just such a good time. Such a great movie. Next up, we have Terrifier 2 Steelbook. Awesome stuff right here. This was on my list of best movies of 2022. Next up, we have the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Masterpiece here. Great stuff. Next up, we have The Unholy. This was actually a pretty good movie right here as well. Basically, I think it was like a tree or something like that that grew up somewhere, and they all started like getting advice from it and everything. Really, really cool movie, and come to find out that it wasn't even like a good thing, it was a negative thing. So yeah, really, really cool movie there. Next up, we have Unhinged. This is a cool movie. I had fun with this. A lot of tension in it. Action movie. Cool stuff. Actually should have that on the other side. Next up, we have Valerian. This is an amazing movie for me. I know people are kind of mixed on it, but I absolutely love this movie. Next up, we have Victor Crowley. This one actually took me 2 watches in order to like it. The first time I hated it. The second time I actually loved it. So yeah, this is a fun one, man. Lots of gore, good practical effects, kind of over the top humor though, and that's kind of where the Hatchet movies always kind of take me out a little bit. But yeah, cool stuff. Next up, we have The Witch. Everybody knows The Witch. Good stuff there. The Visit. I actually just revisited this movie the other day, and man, this is a fucking masterpiece. This is probably my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. This is a great stuff. I watched this movie with my kids. We had a blast with it. This is a really good movie. VHS, awesome stuff. I have VHS 2 also, but something happened to the case, so I have 1 and 2 in here. I need to rebuy 2 just so I can have it actually there. But yeah, both 1 and 2 are fucking amazing for me. I love those films so much. Great stories in there, great stuff. Found footage at its top end for sure. Next up, we have VFW on 4K. This is one I've only watched it once, and I wasn't as high on it as a lot of people were. I did enjoy it, but I do feel like I need to rewatch it. Next up, we have Van Helsing on 4K. This was always a fun one. It's like a kid's version of Frankenstein and everything else like that. More action than it is horror, but I had fun with it. Interview with the Vampire. I remember seeing this one in movie theaters too. This is a fun one, man. I enjoy this one. Horror comedy, good stuff. Welcome Home. This is one that I actually think I got at the dollar store as well. The only reason I got it is because Aaron Paul's in there and it looks like a horror movie. So yeah, haven't seen it. Scooch it down just a little bit more. Next up, What Lies Beneath. Great film right here. Harrison Ford, Michelle Pfeiffer. Awesome stuff. Been a while since I watched that movie, but it's really good. Next up, Willy's Wonderland. Fun movie. I kind of like the Banana Splits movie more than this one, but still fun. Wrong Turn, the remake. I think they actually did a great job with this remake. They went a complete different direction than the originals, but still, they did good. All right, so I have Wrong Turn 1, 2, and 3. Wrong Turn 4. Wrong Turn 5. Wrong Turn 6. I went on this weird thing. I got like that Wrong Turn 1 through 3, then the remake, and I was like, man, I gotta have them all now. So I went and got them all, and I've only seen the first one, the second one, and the remake. That's it. Next up, we have World of Wars, War of the Worlds on 4K. This is a fun one. I enjoy this movie. Cool stuff. Plus, I go to Universal Studios all the time, man, and they still have that plane crash scene set up, and it's fucking awesome to see that. Next up, we have Winchester. This is another one that I feel like is kind of underrated. You know, when this movie first came out, I don't think I could stop watching it. It was so entertaining to me. Plus, the Winchester Mystery House is over in San Jose, so it's not far from where I'm at. I actually still haven't even went on a tour there, but yeah, this is a really interesting movie. I love the backstory that they put on why this house is so crazy or so strangely built that it is. Amazing job. I love this movie. Have Walking Dead Season 1. You're Next. This one, I feel like it's overrated a little bit. I liked it, but I feel like it's overrated. Then we have Zombieland. Hilarious, awesome movie. Enjoy it. Zombieland 2. A step down, but still good. Then I got a couple box sets down here. So I have I Spit on Your Grave box set right here. Has I Spit on Your Grave, I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu, and then Growing Up with I Spit on Your Grave. So cool stuff there. If you like exploitation, definitely check out I Spit on Your Grave. So I have 3 more box sets down here. Oh, actually, I got the Stranger Things box set. Phantasm has the amazing Phantasm 1, the even more amazing Phantasm 2, the great Phantasm 3, the decent Phantasm 4, and the shit show Phantasm 5. I love this series though. This series is a lot of fun. And next up we have Species. I love this box set and I love the first 2 Species. I have not seen the other ones, but I know that Scream Factory released them and they were going for like crazy money. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get this. So awesome stuff here. Glad I held out and got that one. Then last but not least, have this Exorcist set right here. Also signed by Linda Blair. So cool stuff there. Glad to have that. So yes, that is it, folks. We went through all of my Blu-rays. my horror Blu-rays. So next up, we'll hop over to the DVDs, and then we'll start going to through the other genres of movies that I have. So yeah, and this will be a series that I'll do once a year. You know, I get a lot of stuff throughout the year, so I will after this you won't see any more of my Blu-ray ones until next year. So yeah, awesome stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, comment, subscribe down there. Again, like I said on the last one, if you see anything that I'm missing, please shout it out. Most of my stuff is in alphabetical order, so if you see something that I don't have and you recommend it, shout it out and I'll do my best to grab it. So awesome stuff. Right on. You guys are awesome. I'm out of here.